Let me break this down the way that I wish somebody would have broken it down for me, because the word alignment, let's be real, gets thrown around so much that I don't even think people really know what it means anymore. Now, I'm not talking about some vague spiritual concept. I'm talking about something real, something that you can actually use right this moment if you wanted to. So, what do I mean when I say alignment? I mean this: aligning with the version of yourself who's already living the life that you want, because that person, that version of you already exists. And the only reason that most people never become that person is really simple. They're waiting for their life to change before they change. They don't realize, or they don't want to accept, that it works the other way around. For many of my years, I didn't want to accept that. Now, today I'm going to break down what alignment actually is, how it shows up, and how to know the difference between I think I'm aligned and actually being aligned, because those two things are very, very different. They're not even close. So let's start off with what alignment actually is. Alignment is when your decisions, your behavior, your standards match the version of you that you say you want to be. Sounds pretty simple, right? Not the version that you fall into when you're tired, not the version you fall into that's shaped by fear, the real actual version. Now, if you say that you want to be a calm individual, but every time something, negative happens, you react in panic, you're not aligned. If you say that you have standards, but you keep making excuses for other people, you're not aligned. If you say you want money, but your relationship with money is based on fear and lack, that's where I was, you're simply not aligned. Alignment isn't a vibe. It's not journaling. It's simple. It's what you do, how you show up. So let's talk about how your future self actually moves. I want you to think about the version of you who's already living the life that you want. That person isn't chasing anybody, right? They're not begging to be chosen. They're not collapsing every time something doesn't go their way. So let me ask you this. Is your future self writing paragraphs to get somebody else's attention or to get them to treat them the right way? No, because they're not chasing anybody. Is your future self replaying conversations and ruminating them for days on end? Probably not. Is your future self waiting until things calm down before they actually get going? Absolutely not. So why are you doing any of those things now? One of my favorite examples is around money. People that keep looking at their bank account, or they keep looking at their investments, or whatever it happens to be. Think about this for a second. The future you, let's say you had all that money that you're wanting to have. How often are you looking at your bank account? You're not. You don't care because you know it's there. It's a totally different feeling. That's what it means to be aligned. So again, why aren't you doing it now? This is why people get stuck. They wait for external change before internal change happens. When I make more money, when I feel more confident, when the time and the timing is better, or when the time is right. No, that's not how it works. That's not alignment. You know what that is? That's waiting. That's delay. That's hope. Alignment is acting like the person you're becoming now and letting the rest and everything else around you catch up to you. That's how alignment works. So now let's talk about how alignment shows up in your decisions. People love to say, I'm aligned, right? You hear it all the time. All right, so show me your decisions. The misaligned version sees a red flag and says, oh, maybe I'm overreacting. The aligned version says, nope, that doesn't work for me, and walks away. Very different responses. The misaligned version of somebody says, I don't belong at that level yet. I shouldn't be there. The aligned version says, I'm building into that level, so I need to start acting like somebody who does belong there. The misaligned version freezes anytime something gets hard, and quite frankly, they give up and they push it to another time. The aligned version makes moves anyway. I love the word action for the aligned person, because that's what they're doing. And anything that gets in the way of the action, they just move out of the way and they keep on flowing. For me, alignment came down to one simple thing. I would never treat someone the way I was allowing people to treat me. Once that landed, my decisions changed overnight, because I literally ran my life that way. If I wouldn't do it to you, I am simply not accepting it from you. As soon as I made that the way I wanted to live my life, from that very simple moment, everything changed for me. Because alignment does not wait for permission from anybody, not even from you. Most people wait for that permission from their life before they actually change. When I'm ready, when I get a sign, when I'm not scared. Alignment doesn't wait, it doesn't hope. It doesn't sound like I'm scared. It sounds like I'm doing it anyway. It doesn't say I don't know the outcome. It says I know what's right for me. I feel the old pattern. I'm not repeating it. You don't wake up aligned, you become aligned by acting like that person while it's hard and difficult. If you are going to wait till it's easy, what are you going to do later when it's hard? So, how do you know when you're finally actually aligned? For me, it's a feeling. And it's not because something looks perfect. It doesn't mean that when I became aligned that everything in my life was exactly the way that I wanted it to be. No, what changed is I was aligned with the perspective of the way that I wanted to see it, and then I let it catch up to me. If you're waiting for everything to become perfect, I'm gonna burst a big ass bubble for you right now. That shit's fantasy. It is. It's make-believe. That's where you're living. How do I know? That's where I used to live. You know you're aligned because your behavior changes before your circumstances do. You stop shrinking yourself in text messages. You stop over-explaining your no. You stop chasing clarity from people who simply don't even offer it to you. You catch yourself about to abandon yourself, and you don't. And that is the very moment, right then and there, again, things start to change. And there's a quiet moment when you realize something that's super cool. I'm not waiting to be picked anymore. I pick me. And I'm telling you, that's an amazing feeling. And when that happens, you don't go back. You don't want to go back. You simply can't go back. Now, mind you, the old you still tries to pull at you, but you walk differently when you're aligned because alignment uses reality instead of fighting it. So you can tell instantly if you're aligned by how you respond when things don't go your way. The misaligned version takes everything personally, spirals into stories, uses setbacks as proof nothing works. The aligned version sees reality as feedback. I'm learning from this experience. If somebody flakes, good. Now you know where they stand. A plan falls apart, awesome. Now you know what needs adjusting. An idea flops and falls on its face, good. Now you know the next step that you have to take. All of it is a gift. Alignment doesn't mean everything goes right. Don't let anybody sell that to you. That's not how it works. It means that you stop falling apart when shit goes wrong. So, final message. If you want to live as the version of you who already has the life you want, stop waiting for that life to show up first. Start asking yourself real questions. Would my future self tolerate this? Would my future self delay this decision? Would my future self procrastinate? Would my future self explain themselves right here to this person? Alignment isn't a feeling, it's a standard. And you need to start living by that standard. And once you do, everything starts to adjust around you. Slowly, steadily, but undeniably. Because you're now being the person you've been trying to become, and you're living proof of it for yourself.